Hi, I'm Shannon, and this is Complete Shanarchy.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm gonna call you Walter because that's my favorite name for you. So I hope you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. I kind of like Walter.
I love your attire. I love how you're dressed for this. That's great. Welcome here, and thank you for taking time out of your day to be one of my guests here for this telethon. I know you from Ron Paul Tribune chat, and I've seen you be a fantastic advocate of not only our Second Amendment, but the precious metals and coins that you have. I earlier called you a collector of them, and you were quick to say, no, I'm not a collector. And I don't want to put you in the realm of being a prepper. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you and I have not spoken privately very much, so I'm not too keen on what your stance is with that. But if we could go ahead and start with you introducing yourself and how you came to be involved in this movement and what you're doing to further the cause.
Yeah, give me a sec. Let me turn the light on. I'll probably get better. It's probably see me a little better.
Sure, no problem.
All right. I don't know if this will help. All righty. Okay, well, basically, a little while ago, I kind of got into Ron Paul. After '08, the economy starts looking pretty rough, and I'm like, you know what, I've got to learn to make a buck, and I started looking into like all the value in people's homes they lost, and I'm like trying to figure out a way I can, make money out of that. So I start looking around on YouTube, and I see certain guys that were able to call the housing bubble and all these problems before it happened, including Ron Paul. So I'm like, this goes against everything that I've learned in school, but somehow they're able to call it. So listen to a lot of Peter Schiff, Tom Woods, Ron Paul. I started learning about what's happening with our currency. And, I figured, well, if this is what's happening to our currency, what do I do about it? So, I learned silver, gold, all that stuff, and there's different ways you can do it. I assume most of you understand what's happening with our currency. It's being totally inflated and devalued. As far as Ron Paul, he's an Austrian economist, they call him. Basically the old school, pre-World War II type of economics where you produce and save instead of spend borrowed money. And that's the way to wealth. So, I think probably that's, in my opinion, one of the more important issues. If we don't take care of our currency problems now, then all the other problems we have aren't going to matter. Whether gay marriage or, education, none of that's going to matter in a third world country. So this is going to happen to our dollar unless people give up all their entitlements. They take their welfare checks and Social Security checks and bury them in the ground after they cash them. This is going to happen. So I want to talk to you guys about how to, hedge yourself, what you call hedging. You don't make any money, but you don't really lose it. And that's what it's about, purchasing power. You can have more dollars, but if you have dollars that are worth nothing, then what does it matter? In Germany, they were all millionaires, but they were starving. In Zimbabwe, trillionaires. A can of Coke costs $350 billion, if I remember correctly. So what good does that do you? What does a big bank account like a phone number do if you're starving? So, that's really the root, I think, of all our problems. If you have a currency you can just inflate, you can pay for a massive military. You can promise money to people that you don't have. They don't realize that you're taking it out of one pocket and, taking a little bit out and putting it into the other pocket. If you have sound currency, you can't give what you don't have. And that's probably the solution to all our problems. We're going to get there one way or another. Either total collapse or people realize what's going on and we have to peg our currency to something real. So either way, this is going to happen. I'm not sure how many of y'all, most of y'all, I just want to look at the room, y'all have an understanding of what's going on with our currency to some point? Just yays and nays?
Okay, one somewhat is good enough for me to ask you to go ahead and explain what you think is happening, Tom.
Okay, basically all this quantitative easing, all the stimulus that they're doing for us to save the economy. They're throwing excess money into circulation. So let's go with some crazy numbers. Let's say that you're super rich. There's only $1,000 out in circulation. You have $100. If you print up another $1,000, well, you have 10% of the currency, now 20. That's what's happening in your savings account. It's getting totally eroded away. Prices are going up faster than your interest. You're getting interest on that. A weaker currency is not a good thing. Deflation is a very good thing. Prices going if prices constantly went down for your food, your grocery bill was lower, gas was cheaper, houses were cheaper, your savings, you didn't even need interest, just your savings it would increase in when purchasing power as things got progressed. That's how people retired back in the day. They didn't work till they were 90. They put money aside. That's where the saying, a dollar saved is a dollar earned came from. So that's basically what's happening. They throw extra money. For another example, let's say that 10 people go to an auction. They have $50 in their pocket. Well, the most that can be spent on an item is $50. If you give $1,000 to these same people, same day. Thank you. Same day, same items. Well, if they have more money, that increases the prices dramatically. That's what's happening. Inflation is not rising prices. Inflation is an increase in the money supply, which in turn results in higher prices. So there's a couple ways. I'm a huge advocate of silver. In my opinion, that's the best way to go. I recommend all you guys, whatever little bit you've got, buy a little bit of silver with it. There's different ways to do it. If you want to do like a profit potential and future investments, I'd say bullion rounds are probably your best bet. That's what I prefer. Rounds are in the shape of a coin. A coin is currency issued by a nation. A round is just silver formed in the shape of a coin. You can cut it, melt it. You can do whatever you want with it. You can get it out of the country. They didn't have the federal laws protecting it. It's no different than having jewelry. That's why I prefer rounds. You can go with silver eagles. That's currency, but they still go as bullion. Eagles, peace dollars, Morgans, those are going to carry a premium. They'll always be worth more than their silver value. And then for those of you who just want to get silver for bartering, I would recommend Washington quarters. And the reason for that, Liberty quarters, they get really slick. You can't read the year. A Washington quarter, it's very easy to read. Also, Mercury dimes. I wouldn't say Roosevelt's are okay because they're still silver, but some people have poor eyesight. If you can just look at the dime and tell it's silver, that would be a good bartering tool. So let's say that let's go with purchasing power. A gallon of milk, that's what I'm reading here. Gallon of milk, just regular gallon of milk. Back in the day, say 20 years ago, you could buy a gallon of milk for about a dime, right? Well, today, that silver dime is worth about $3.50, give or take. It still buys you a half a gallon of milk, or a gallon of milk. Let's say gasoline. You could get about a gallon and a half with a silver quarter. Well, today you can buy a little bit more than that because actually the dollar value has went up, but in terms of silver, all the advancements in technology, fracking, all this advancements in technology, we get more oil for the same work, the price should go down, but it doesn't in dollars, just in silver. For those of you who want to have a tight budget, another way to do it is copper. I recommend people collect pennies. 1982s, 50% of those are copper. Yeah. But it'll be half of those. All your 82s, put them aside. Put them all together, all 82s together. You'll get something for them, but not as much as the other pennies. Then you got 81 and below. That's a good way to go. They're 95% copper as well. They're all the same weight, same purity. you'll know exactly what you've got there. And then all your wheat pennies, those go for the most. Set all those aside. I guess lead and brass, I mean, all metals will really retain their value because the dollar gets destroyed. Anything will. If you got a pair of dirty shoes, that would retain its value better than dollars. Anything would. And with copper, don't go on eBay and get, industrial scrap wire. That's not really, they're different purities, different weights. You're going to get screwed when you get, when you cash in. Copper bullion, unless you're buying a Ron Paul bullion like Shan has. Could you hold that up, please? Yeah. Silver bullion, it's a horrible way to go. This cost me about $3.25. I paid for that much for Ron Paul. I carry it around with me. It's, good luck charm there. But copper is about $3.30 a pound. So you can see how bad you're getting screwed. Don't go with a copper bullion. The reason I say pennies, very easy. 95% copper, same weight, same purity. There's about 150 or 145 pennies pound. So you got 3 rolls. There you go. You know exactly what you've got. Silver, well, yeah, I'm just reading down there. Gold and silver both way to go, but silver's way, way, way undervalued. The gold ratio, it's usually 16 to 20 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. Right now it's about 60 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. So it's way undervalued. You buy silver now before everybody realizes what's going on, you're going to be in the head. And be ahead of everybody else. Plus that, we've used so much silver. So much silver, it's actually more rare than gold right now. That's, if you know this and collect before everybody else, you'll be much better off. 90% of all that is paid.
Angry Dude had a question a little while ago. He was asking if there is silver in our vaults. If I'm repeating that question correctly?
As far as doing audits, they haven't let us, we haven't checked in about 30, 40 years. No one really knows that. If it is there, it's not going to probably be what we thought it was. I would say we have some, but not as much as we may think. And nickels too, yeah, I saw that. Nickels are a good way to go. A nickel is going to be 75% copper, 25% nickel, So nickel, you need that for surgical equipment, hard drives, cookware. There's a lot of things that you need nickel for. And then copper, there's been no significant amounts of copper in about 100 years. So look at emerging economies. Look at China. Look at India. They're having a higher standard of living. If just 5% of them start using electricity, driving cars, well, what's going to happen to the price of copper? It's going to shoot up. If you have all this collected now, you're going to have money. You'll be able to sell it off later. You're not going to be able to melt them probably, but still, you can go and you can do like you do silver bullion, sell them off for whatever currency takes place of the dollar. If you have a copper sorter, 1982 and older, you can throw them through a sorter. Only half of the 1982s are copper. So keep those separate. 1981 and below will always go for more. If you check out eBay, always go for more.
Tom, do you have a specific website, or do you actually physically go into places to buy your coins?
I got you. If you're going to buy large amounts, I used to go to a site called Northwest Territorial Mint. I haven't bought large amounts in a while, but that's where I used to go. Your cheapest way is going to be just walk into a coin shop. They're always going to have what they call junk coins in a bin. You go in there, you buy that. That's going to be your best way. They got bullion as well. Don't buy rare and numismatics. In the kind of situation we're looking at, it's going to be just the silver value, right? Not everybody out there knows their grades. So if you put all this money into, some rare Morgan dollar, and then it comes time to trade it for food or something, well, you're going to get screwed. They're not going to know what, MS70 means. They're just going to see this is, 0.7735 ounces of silver. I'll give you this much for it. It's like, like diamonds. I don't know anything about diamonds. Come to me with a diamond saying this is worth this much. I don't know. So I'm not going to give you what you're asking for. And another thing is the pre-1933 gold coins. Gold's going to retain its value very well, but silver has much more profit potential. Palladium, that has a lot of way to go too, but it's not nearly as undervalued as silver. But silver would be the way to go. After that, platinum, copper, then gold. But anyway, as far as pre-1933, everybody's like, well, if you call up a place, they try to sell you this stuff, saying it's exempt from confiscation. Yes, it was Executive Order 6260, I believe, that said that, rare and collectible coins were exempt. However, they never specified what rare and collectible was. So therefore, it's basically, this ain't it. It could be one of a kind, and if they don't say so, they're taking it. It was illegal to do it back then. It'd be illegal now. They'd still, it doesn't matter. Don't waste your money on that. If you do go with gold, I'd recommend Cougarons. It's the African bullion. They've got the lowest premium. Every time you buy silver, you pay a premium. It costs money to, have it refined, purified. So you want to go with the lowest premium, you can get more silver for the same amount of money.
I'm going to let you guys in the room ask a few more questions for Tom, and then I have one more guest, and we're going to start making way for Brooke. I believe she is Ron Paul girl. So anyways, yeah, if you guys have a couple more questions for Tom, we'll go ahead and let him answer that. Yeah, Libertarian Ann, my fault. And then I'll have my last guest on, and we'll get it moving.
Now, sterling silver is going to be 7.25, so you're going to get scrap value, and plus that would be very hard. Some people wouldn't recognize it. I'm not sure on that one. I would honestly do bullion, junk coins or bullion. And yes, you can eat silver and gold. Well, I get that one a lot. Let's say anybody with medical conditions, what are you going to do? Let's say you have chickens and I grow tomatoes. I'm going to give you an IOU. Hey, if my tomatoes, if I actually grow tomatoes, I'll pay you back 6 months from now. No, it's a form. As long as you're going to have a civilization, you're going to need a form of currency. That's what it is. That's what it. So you can eat silver and you can eat gold. Let's see what else. Anybody else have any questions? I'll just answer. Well, the beauty of you can't grow silver, that's exactly why. That's what makes it valuable. That's exactly why it has value.
I think we had a lot of great questions in here. I think your knowledge, Tom, is something that isn't discussed enough within this movement. So I think you're also a pivotal person for our cause. So I thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be one of my guests. Are you going to be at Paul Fest?
I'm afraid not. I couldn't make it.
Okay, I'm not gonna harass you about it, Tom. I'll save that part for later. But thank you again for what you do and what you know and the knowledge that you continue to spread. And please feel free to stay in here and answer people's questions. I'm sure there's a ton of them for you. So thank you again, Tom.
Yeah, real quick, I want to just say that also I'm always on Ron Paul Tribune, usually in chat room 1. If you have any questions, that's where to find me. I'm either Tom or Walter Mellon. I'll just stick you here and answer your questions to the best of my ability. And I guess I'll see y'all guys there.
Thanks again, Tom.
Hey, thanks for watching Complete Shanarchy. If this is your first time watching our show, click that subscribe button so you don't miss anything this crazy girl comes up with next. Also, let's work together to spread that message of liberty. So please share her videos across the interwebs and hope that we can all work together in achieving maximum freedom.